It's HieroGeekics, your show in sci-fi all things geek. Nerds.
It's always that pre-intro jitters. You know what I'm saying? I'm recording right now, but it's all right. Welcome back. Welcome back to HieroGeekics. It's your boy Mayhem Mike. I'm here with my sidekick Dorco and my butler Cooking Boy T.
It's your ward, damn it.
Listen, I told you I don't want to join your secret boy band. And as you guessed, we're going to dive right in and definitely talk about the one, the only Iron Man. Guys, first of all, say hi, because that's just rude. Say hi.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Brooklyn Boy T.
Hey guys, what's going on? Your favorite recluse, Dorco Manhattan.
You know, I'm going to start giving you guys, like, names. I'm going to have to call you Tweedledee and Tweedle, maybe? Oh, man. Listen. Let's talk about Tony Stark. First of all, let's talk about Robert Downey Jr. Can we all agree that this man is possibly the face of MCU?
Of course.
Easy,
right?
Easily.
He's definitely up there in regards to, like, he's basically Christopher Reeve status. Like, no one will ever see anyone else play Iron Man than Robert Downey Jr., just like a lot of people are not going to see anyone play a perfect Superman than Christopher Reeve.
I completely agree. Yeah. With Robert Downey Jr., it's almost like it's synonymous with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
You know, when you see him in an interview, is he being Tony
Stark?
Is
Stark or is he being Robert Downey Jr.?
Which is so great.
One and the same.
Oh man, I really hope he stays. I really hope I hope he renews his contract.
I mean, you know, I don't necessarily.
Give us 10 more years.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like, you've seen him at cons, and he comes with like the plasma ray, you know, and he like gets into it with the crowd, like
He definitely, like, you know, like it's obvious that he puts a lot of himself into the character.
Yeah.
I think it's very important to bring up the fact that one of his influences for that character was the billionaire Elon Musk. You guys, if you don't know him, he's the one who helped start PayPal as well as Tesla. You know, we wouldn't mind a sponsorship for a Tesla or a vehicle. You know,
I'll test your drive.
And he was like, you know, he's full of like, this guy is very entertaining, he's charming, he's all these different things, and you can see it rub off. Like the way they describe Mr. Musk is like kind of like Robert Downey Jr. character, Tony Stark. Obviously, they take it a little bit further, and you know, definitely, what's the best way I can say this? He masters it, and it's like I remember when Iron Man first came out. It was what, 2008? Yeah, it's 2008. 2008. Like I was blown away. Like right off the bat, the scene that sticks off to me is, remember when he actually comes back with his full suit and he's like trying to like stop a weapon, like a village that's actually taken by like I won't say terrorists, but like insurgents, whatever.
The 10 rings.
Yes, there you go. And then, like, remember, the tank fires a missile at him. He dodges it and throws like a little putt missile and walks away, and it blows up. Boom!
It's a very
for every animation person, for any guy who likes action movie, that's like a big scene for us. Yes. From, like, you know, like people who fight with swords, they run at each other and swing. From people who like do something and then like a bomb goes off and then they walk away. That's like a cool moment. You dodge the missile.
It's a very Iron Man moment.
I think the Iron Man moment is at the end when he's like, I don't want to say I'm Iron Man, but I am Iron Man.
When I think about that movie, there's three scenes that stand out to me. One, what you just said, the I am Iron Man line. The other one is the I can fly line. When he was testing out the suit and he was flying all around, and you saw Tony Stark actually flying around. He wasn't in the suit yet. Yeah. And then he finally landed, and then he just said, I can fly. I thought that was amazing.
That was dope.
And then number 3 is his first transformation. When you saw the suits, when he first went on the test flight. Yeah. That to me will be something that I always remember.
Yeah. Man. All right, so I guess we can talk about it.
He's definitely like the godfather of the MCU, but Christopher Reeve is the godfather of all superhero actors.
Yeah, he's the first one to be taken serious, by sure. But
because without him without him taking that role seriously, even with the director putting all his input and making him like real, all of this wouldn't be here.
That's right.
That's dope.
I believe a man can fly.
Yeah. Wow. I still think, although Kevin Spacey messed it up, for whatever he's going through right now, I still think he made a great Lex Luthor.
I think so too.
Yeah. I really did. Like,
I mean, the story wasn't,
Yeah, but for what he did with it,
for what he did with the character, yes.
Yes.
Even on set, I don't know if you ever seen like the behind the scenes featurettes. Even on set, he would drive around in like one of those golf carts, with a Superman doll attached to it, and a microphone be like, "Superman sucks, Superman sucks."
My whole thing with Lex Luthor in those movies were how much times can he use development, like to take? How much time does he try to take over land? That it was. Every movie he was in, he tried to take over land.
I think this kind of go back to our previous episodes.
Loopholes.
They didn't really do their research on Luthor. Luthor is so much more complex. He's so much more. I remember reading. I forgot the series. I don't want to kill it out. I remember he just got out of a house arrest or corporate arrest, and he was like interviewing a new assistant. And, like, his assistant went with him throughout the day of, like, how him being evil. And then once you realize he was going to kill somebody, she wasn't, like, going to go for it. And he ended up pushing her out of the helicopter. And he's like, it's such a shame. And he called somebody else in. Yeah. And I was like, wow, you went through, like, a whole days of evil and figuring out stuff. And then at the end of the day, you killed your assistant just to get another one. Yep. And just, like,
well, speaking of Lex Luthor, what'd you think of Death of Superman?
Oh, okay.
I loved it.
I am so conflicted. I'm going to be real with you. I'm so conflicted. Because I've seen that battle so many times, animation-wise, not on the live screen. And I don't know which one I like more. I got to watch it again. I got to watch it again because, all right, fine. He's... Okay, so Death of Superman brings up the whole, like, Wonder Woman and what we were kind of deal, and she kind of like teases him for it. Cause Wonder Woman's full of herself. She's not full of herself. She's confident. She's like, you're in love, but I'm an Amazonian. So it's just like, it was dope because I felt despair. It was dope because Batman unfortunately couldn't come out on top on this one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
going against Doomsday.
He was going. You know what I'm saying? And then I think I love how they built him. Because, like, when he was going against Flash, I'm like, I want to see how he reacts to that.
Right.
And it was just, like, it was dope. It kind of reminded me of the scene where Flash actually went against Superman in Justice League, where Flash is moving all around, and then you see Superman turn his head and follow him.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's chills right there. That's a dope scene. I still don't like that movie, but that's a dope scene. I'm leaning toward this
because he's not used to it. He's not used to people actually seeing him in motion. Right. That's why he gives like that awkward facial expression.
Can see me?
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of Lex Luthor, when I heard that Rainn Wilson, I mean, of all people, Rainn Wilson, if you know who he is, he's done his work on he's mostly known in The Office, right?
Yes.
I've never seen the show, but
it's a dope show.
You've never seen it?
No.
We may have to kidnap you.
When I heard that he was cast as Luthor, like at first I was just like very reluctant, but I was, you know what? Let me wait till the actual movie comes out, and he did actually a great job. I was actually impressed with his portrayal of Luthor.
First of all, I just want to say, whoever's head of DC Comics for animation, you guys are killing it. Yeah. Because I can't really think of a DC animation with superheroes. I'm really just taking my time and thinking of... Yeah, but I would say superheroes within the superhero genre. Right. You know what I'm saying? That hasn't, like, been hidden. Teen Titans was hidden. You know what I'm saying? The first, obviously, Justice League was hidden. Like, it's, like, so many things. I'm just like, wow.
The only thing that I will say about... Death of Superman is in the original storyline they don't fight the Justice League that we're familiar with. Batman, correct. Wonder Woman, whatever. Like they fight like a different version of the Justice League that was back in '93. But these are characters that a lot of people don't know about, so I can see why they made the switch. Because like on that roster you had Guy Gardner, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, and I think one or two other members that I can't really remember. But it wasn't the Justice League that we all know.
Yeah, because I think in this movie, remember this movie was part of the universe that the Justice League War universe, which was basically based off the New 52. So you had Justice League War, then you had Aquaman, then you had
Throne of Atlantis.
Yeah, Throne of Atlantis. Then you had. What was it? Teen Titans versus Justice League.
Right.
You had like all the Batman movies and stuff like that. So I think they just wanted to keep they just wanted to keep
the continuity
straight,
which I'm totally okay with. I'm totally, because you know what? Nonetheless, the main issue is that Doomsday ran through them all. Even the original Hall of Justice League. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Got their ass whipped. Yeah,
they got their butts handed to them.
But I am looking forward to the second part,
of course,
because I you know, I mean, I'm familiar with the storyline when it came out, and so like I really am looking forward to the reign of Superman, Eradicator, a cyborg Superman, Steel is like by far the one that I'm really like looking forward to seeing.
Superboy
and Superboy.
I can't front when
Superboy fan.
When Reign of Superman came out, I was like Superboy all day. I was like, yo, because it was so relatable.
Yeah,
and they've been doing a good job. I mean. No, they have done a great job. Although, you know, we get kind of like a pushback for the Killing Joke, for the whole Barbara Gordon, Batgirl kind of thing going on. But all right, fine. But they've been doing a great job translating from page to cinema, honestly, for me. And I want to see how this plays out. I definitely want to see how all this plays out. And then he still has to come back and deal with, well, 3 of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, the Eradicator he's got to deal with. He's got to deal with Cyborg Superman, who never really dies.
Well, I think Cyborg Superman was the only true evil Superman. I think the rest of them had good intentions.
Yeah.
He still got to fight him.
He still got to
fight him. The exception of Steel. Because
him stealing Superboy against the other 2 to begin, I think that's how it was. But I really can't remember.
You know what would be dope? This is projecting.
Yeah.
If they can somehow bring, maybe within a year, like build it up, Superboy Prime.
Oh, man.
I mean, and then then they got to bring in the Green Lantern War. Oh my god! Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of storylines that DC like has had in the past that I definitely would like to see in animated form.
Yes,
like definitely like the Rise of the Black Lanterns.
Ooh,
Deadly Night. What's it called?
Darkest Night.
Darkest Night.
If they could do the whole, that's gonna be a crazy movie.
I want to see Battle for the Cowl.
Yes, yeah. The battle for the cowl.
I just want to say, whenever Batman and his family comes together, I need more fighting scenes between them. I need to know who's stronger than who. I mean, don't get me wrong, Damian is dope, but we obviously know Nightwing is stronger. I'm sorry, Nightwing has called the one up on him, and they're it's interesting because it's like they're brothers, so there's always like a sibling rivalry, but it's like a deadly sibling rivalry, teeter-tottering. You know what I'm saying? But then people are like also like downplaying who Dick Grayson is. It's totally off. We're talking about DC right now, but
we're completely off tangent.
Dick is so. Dick is Dick until what's his name? Jason Todd? No, not Jason Todd. Tim Drake was actually fitted to be Batman, and then Batman himself, Bruce Wayne, was like, no, it's Tim Drake. He's more suited to be Batman than anybody else. However, I still think all of them get their butts whipped by Dick Grayson. You know,
I think Dick was probably the best leader out of all of the Robins.
Fair enough.
You know, he was the best leader. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny that, but I do think as far as detective skills, it was definitely
he definitely shows like what Bruce taught him. Yeah. You know, in terms of like leadership, guidance. You know, because you don't really get that from Tim Drake, and you don't really get that definitely don't get that from Jason Todd. Yeah. Let alone Damian.
Well, you do see it from Jason. So I recently read Robin War. Yeah. Robin War and
I love all
Batman
these
Robin
comics.
Eternal. In which when you saw Jason Todd interact with Damian and Tim, because they like their story for the most part was away from Dick Grayson. So when they were on their own, you definitely saw the leader in Jason come out, and it was a different type of leadership. It was almost like a snarly leader, but also when he saw like the panels of him thinking, he was also always worried about the other guys.
Is that the one where Damian tried to take out all of them at one point?
No, that was when
that was a
when Batman was he lost his memory.
Oh,
he lost his memory, and something happened I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but something happened in the past. And
okay, I got it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
And it affected Damian. It affected Dick Grayson. Yeah. And so he needed help to try to resolve this issue. Okay. And it was almost like Batman's darkest hour.
Wow.
While you guys were talking, I was thinking about it, and maybe our viewers can help us too. Like, the crazy thing is, you know how we have different faces or different personalities of the Joker, which is weird for me to say.
Yeah.
Right? The crazy man known as Joker. I think each Robin kind of signifies a different Batman. And, you know, like a more bloodshed, bloodstained, experienced Batman. You know, like Dick Grayson is more like you're a son to me, kind of like, you're going to follow my tutelage, boom, 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 but I'm still hopeful. Dick leaves. Who's next? Jason. And then, like, after Jason, you know, it's Tim and then Damian. But he's so hurt from Jason. You know what I'm saying? He's hurt from Dick, from leaving him. You know, let's be real.
Yeah.
And he has Jason. Jason dies in his care. Let's be real. Comes back, that's another issue. Then Tim, and they work well together, but I always kind of get from the comics, like, Tim looked up to him, but they kind of worked alone together, which is weird for me to say. It's like we work in the same building, we work on the same floor, but your cubicle is always in the way.
Yeah.
You know? And then Damian comes out of nowhere and is like, oh, this responsibility. You know? And then he kind of like, it kind of opens him up again, but then he's got this whole list. And let's not forget Batgirl, Batwoman. And
that's right.
I will also say shout out to Damian because he has a dog. I forgot that damn dog's name. He has a bat cow, right? And he has a dog. Yeah. And that so reminded me of Crypto the dog. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and then Super Sons is dope. Have you guys been catching up on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Super Sons.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back tomorrow. We're gonna be here.
That was fun.
We had to give DC their props because as of right now, you guys aren't looking so good. Throw the whole corporation away right now.
Talk to us in 6 months.
You know,
see how we looking.
I have faith in Shazam, Aquaman. I'm not gonna lie to you. That scene where he jumps off the boat into the dark water,
and all of
that's
them.
what I'm looking for. Because that, I said it before, reminds me of The Little Mermaid, where they fought
the witch?
The witch at the end, okay? And it looks dope, okay? So, Disney, if you're listening, you can learn something, okay, maybe. But aside from that, we came to talk about Tony. We came to talk about Robert Downey Jr. He's literally the face of MCU, like we said. The first movie, Iron Man, was such a great movie for me. And it wasn't because it was like it had a great villain and had a great story. I felt like the story was pretty good. It was the promise of what could come.
Yes.
Because how he became Iron Man, like throughout the whole movie, it seems like Robert, or Tony, if you will, he's not really focused on the small picture. He's thinking of the big picture. Yep. So when he gets captured, which was also a dope scene, I'm sorry to say, like how it transpired. Yeah. He gets captured, then he frees himself, and he's like, "Yo, I gotta rectify this. My weapons are being this." Da, da, da. He makes the suit, and he comes back, and he's like, "Oh, I can do good with this." And it's just like, wow. Like, and to be real with you, before the development on screen, Iron Man was kind of a linear character. And let me explain.
He's a B-class character.
Yeah.
So
maybe even C.
Right. He not necessarily the leader at times. You know, we had Cap for the Avengers, but he was definitely there. He was definitely part of the Illuminati, but he wasn't as developed. You understand? What big? And we're gonna go into that. What big villain did he really go against? Yeah,
I can't really think. I mean, pretty
back then.
Yeah.
Back then he was.
It wasn't him by himself. It was with everybody else. Is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? He was a linear but featured character. But here it is. The way they did this script, the way they made this movie, the way he portrayed that character is like he can technically hold. Like he can technically hold his own now. You think it? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, all right. Well, the only villain I can think of is the one that was in the first one, Obadiah Stane. Except, in the movie he dies, but in the comics he's still like an ongoing character, and he's like, I guess he's like his Lex Luthor because now like since he breaks off from Tony and with all of that happening, like he kind of goes on his own. Obadiah Stane, he creates his own company, his own corporation, and he still competes with Tony, and I don't know if is his name Justin Hammer.
Oh yeah, that's right, Hammer.
But he's. But I don't really. Is he like considered like a villain too? Iron Man or Tony Stark?
He is because he definitely is he's a rival weapons developer who. And back then, most of Iron Man's stories revolved around taking down arms dealers.
Yeah,
it wasn't saving the universe and stuff like that. Only when he teamed with the Avengers.
I would say the only other person that's a really big villain, and maybe I'm wrong, is the Mandarin. And
see, that's the problem with it. See, like I would have thought the Mandarin, but they did him so bad
in the third one. We're gonna get to that. What did you guys think about the first movie?
I absolutely loved the first movie.
Fair enough.
I absolutely loved the first movie. It showed Tony Stark in a way where the first half hour of the movie was, are we supposed to care about this guy?
Yeah.
You know, and then by the end of the movie, you completely understood where he was coming from.
Him and Pepper.
But it wasn't. He's a flawed character. He has so much. The first movie was just riddled with flaws, and by the end of the movie, he wasn't any better. But he just knew he fixed one thing about himself, and that was stop making weapons.
Yeah.
But as far as they took the other two movies to kind of fix his character and it's still up until Infinity War he was still correcting himself. Yeah. But yeah, it was really good because we haven't seen a superhero who was flawed like that at that point per se.
I want to agree with you because, now that I think about it, he's right. Because I didn't really care about it. I was interested in the suit and everything, but I didn't care about him until he almost died when they took the reactor out of his chest. Yeah. And then I was like, come on, I need you to go back. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. For a very long time, I always thought, like since the first Iron Man back in 2008, I always thought that the Iron Man was like the equivalent of the MCU's Dark Knight. Okay. In terms of like a superhero in a real life world, because like that's pretty much what was Dark Knight, and it reflected that. It started that with Batman Begins, and then it carried over with Dark Knight for sure. Like there was no indication where like other superheroes existed, but it definitely displayed what I guess a billionaire wants to do with this money, and a lot of the stuff that he even had, like his suit, his weapons, everything is everything that he had is a reflection of what is going on now, even with the army behind the scenes and all that. I'm pretty sure they have weapons like this. We just probably don't know about it yet. Yeah. But going back to the movie, I just felt it was like that similar tone. Of a superhero existing in a real world.
I want to add on to that. I think, ironically, his parents, their presence is like really heavy throughout the films, but it kind of slides in subconsciously. So you like take note of it, but you don't really like focus on it. Right. So, for instance, I felt like we obviously find out how he handles his grief and how he deals with it to a certain extent, right? And we know in the comics he also turned to alcoholism, all this other stuff. However, what I wanted to point out is I think through his accomplishments, he's trying to like make his parents proud if they were to look down on him. You understand? Look down from heaven on him and just be like, in your absence, this is what I've done with the company. Aren't you proud of me now? But he's kind of lost himself while also trying to figure out what his dad was working on too.
Right.
I think for a long time he was being manipulated by
Obadiah Stane.
Also.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of the movie, when he does the Jericho missiles.
Yeah.
And he gives a case of wine or champagne, whatever, then goes to peace. He could care less at that point. Yeah. He just I got the check. I'm about to go spend it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That flamboyant.
Is that not like? I'm not gonna lie. That'd be me. Is this a rose? Why? Thank you.
I mean, like you have the check, but then like you said, he's not really, giving a crap about it.
Right.
Like he's too much into the wealth.
Yeah.
But he's not seeing like that his weapons are being put into the wrong hands.
Exactly. He's so far removed where he just does it. He's like that guy who has so much money that never turns on the TV and watches the news.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the best characterization for him in Iron Man 1. First half of the movie.
And if you guys seen both movies during that year, if you think about it, there's an actor that was in both movies as well. The guy in The Dark Knight where the Joker starts chasing after towards the end, and then Bruce Wayne runs his Ferrari or his Porsche like to dodge like the car collision that the Joker's trying to go after.
Yeah.
Because like he said because like the Joker put out an ultimatum saying like, if this guy, I'm gonna let you guys have your fun. If this guy lives, the hospital goes down.
Yeah.
You know? So like the whole public was like going after this. Yeah. Right. But then you go to Iron Man, and he's playing like one of the guys that's like behind the scenes, like behind the screens in the army.
Yeah.
And this is when he makes his debut as Iron Man. It's a brief moment.
Yeah.
But it's the same guy, except he had more exposure in Dark Knight than he did in Iron Man. But I was just like, yo, like it's the same guy.
Cut the check, sir. All right, so let's move on to 2010, Iron Man 2. I was very excited for this movie. I wasn't too happy with it, but what I loved about it, first of all, R.I.P. Terrence. You didn't make it to the second one. We got Don Cheadle instead.
Terrence Howard.
Yeah, it was a lot of problems. Like Edward Norton, there's a lot of whatever.
I mean, a lot of behind the scenes issues. To be honest, I'm not the hugest Terrence Howard fan. I think he's very monotone to say the least.
What?
I think he's monotone, man. Think about it.
You didn't watch what was that, Power? He's on right now.
Not Power.
Not Power.
Empire.
What?
Empire.
Empire. There you go. The other word that means power.
Empire. That's it. And Hustle and Flow.
There you go. That's what I was looking for exactly.
That's every other show. He's Hustle and Flow. In Iron Man, he was Hustle and Flow in Iron Man. Mm-hmm. In the 50 Cent movie, he was Hustle and Flow in the 50 Cent movie.
I mean, Hustle and Flow was very big for him. It happened in 2005.
What you mean, man? Come on, man.
The only thing I was happy about this change from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle is I'm just happy that Don Cheadle didn't sport a British accent like he did in the Oceans movie. Like, I never understood that. Like, why, yo? Like, why do you need the accent?
He wanted to show versatility. Listen, unfortunately...
So get a real British guy.
Fair enough. I will give you that. But I can't knock Don Cheadle because he's a dope actor.
No, he is.
And,
he is.
Oh, was this House... Was House of something that he was in? House of Cards? Yes, House of Cards. Was it House of Cards?
I don't know.
Is it like a Showtime?
No, it was Showtime thing. Yes,
that he has currently, or
no? I don't know if it's still going, but it was dope. Like if you guys watch it, it was dope.
Wasn't it just called House?
No, because House is that medical thing.
Isn't it House MD? Isn't it? Oh,
that's the medical drama that everybody likes. That guy who's a douchebag, and he's like, he's sick. Why didn't you check his butt for her? Like some shit like that.
Oh yeah, House. The doc when he was a doctor.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's gonna come to me. House of Lies. There you
House
go.
of Lies.
There you go.
Not Cards, but Lies.
Because Cards is with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
That's what I can't.
Well, was with Kevin Spacey.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. For the majority, he was there. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But House of Lies was dope. Check it out. Like he's such a layered person there. But anyway.
He's a good actor. He's a very good actor.
That and he made a really great Captain Planet.
Captain Planet. So I like Rhodey's step in. I like War Machine's debut. Like I'm not gonna lie, the last scene where they're fighting all the other machines and they're kind of like back to that was dope.
Yeah.
Leading to it, I felt like it could have been better.
You mean even when Iron Man showed up?
Just like the whole conflict of the whole story. The whole story about pretty much the army trying to get their hands on the suit, Tony dealing with his new fame and all this other stuff and responsibility for sure. Like that whole thing. You know what's crazy?
It was a dark movie though if you look at it.
It was.
Yeah. It showed the alcoholism.
Mm-hmm. I pit that. Well, they had to bring that up too because that's part of his character. But I pit that against the Winter Soldier. Because it's like you can't really trust the government, and here it is. You are kind of like not a super soldier, but you are a weapon. You have a weapon in your possession, and people are trying to get it. And it's like, I know it's a different story, but the Winter Soldier was done better. You know what I'm saying? Way better.
There's no denying that. Winter Soldier is overall probably one of the best. Definitely top 3 Marvel movies.
Top 1 for me. But go ahead.
What'd you think of the villain, though?
Whiplash?
Yeah.
It could have been done better. It definitely could have been done better.
You know that list that I was reading earlier about the actors or whatever? Okay, well, Mickey Rourke is on that list. So Mickey Rourke worked hard on perfecting his accent and even went to Russia to prepare for his role as Whiplash. To his annoyance, Marvel ended up cutting most of his scenes, stating it's effing too bad, but it's their loss. If they want to make mindless comic book movies, then I don't want to be a part of that.
And
I can kind of understand that though, because here it is. It's like you do overtime, you don't get shine for it. Yeah. So Mick, if you hear this, we kind of on your side right now.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to get banned from watching these movies though, but like,
it's definitely not his fault.
And plus, they were like, weren't they at the time sort of starting to prep for the Avengers, or at least the lead up or the build up to the Avengers?
So. Yeah,
because even at the end of Iron Man 2, if you see the meeting that Tony has with Nick Fury, if you look at the screen, you'll see like the locations of like there's one in New Mexico, Thor. There's one in like Alaska or something, which is Captain America, and then there's another one I think New York, which is Hulk.
Right.
You know, so it's like like I think at the time. If I remember correctly, I think someone called it an infomercial to the Avengers.
Well, I think that remember that movie was riddled with Avengers, with not Avengers per se, but other Marvel movies.
And plus, you had Black Widow make her debut.
Black Widow made her debut. You had.
Did she have the long hair?
Yes,
the long hair.
Yes.
Curly. She had long curly hair.
Yeah. Thank God
Captain
you got rid
America
of that.
Shield, a prototype for Cap Shield was in his workstation.
In the first one, the
second one.
Was it?
Yeah, when he used it as a leveling device.
I thought it was the first one.
We may have to go back on this
because like there's even like after like his test flight of the suit, they're having difficulty. His machines are having difficulty removing the suit, and then Pepper Potts walks in, and you can see like in the background the shield, but it wasn't the shield, but it was like a mock-up like shield, like a prototype of
yes.
it. And the reason why I remember that is because again, it all goes back to the first Iron Man movie. Marvel has made it a habit of CGIing like little like Easter eggs.
Okay.
Because they show that same scene in the trailer. It's just you don't see the shield in the background.
You're 100% correct. But in Iron Man 2 also,
but yes, he did use it.
Shield and he used it as a leveler. And then he was like, oh, perfect. And Coulson was
so basically, Cap made a minor cameo in like the first two movies.
That explains the relationship they would have in the beginning.
Right. And then the end credit scene was, of course, the Thor, the Thor hammer.
Yeah.
So
right.
Thor did come out in 2011, and then after that was Captain America. The first Avengers. The first Avenger, and then the Avengers came out the following year. They made us wait a whole year.
That was the movie that changed it all.
Yep.
A shawarma.
A shawarma. That was a last minute scene I read somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. And the commentary on in Infinity War Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
The directors are talking about that scene.
Oh yeah.
How did they put that scene in? Can somebody?
I need to.
I love this scene.
The shawarma scene.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You know what? I feel like that takes a dig at. Was it How It Should Have Ended? Where they have the cafe where it's always Batman and Superman in the cafe. That's what that reminded me of.
Okay.
Shout out to them real quickly. Obviously, let's talk about his growth as a person. He deals with He's dealing with more responsibility.
Right.
Now, I will say, what I like about Whiplash is because he's a believable enemy. Not every enemy is super powered. You know what I'm saying? And it shows that even on a more human or basic level, people are coming after Tony now.
Right.
Because you've just announced that you are Iron Man.
Yeah.
So you got to deal with all this stuff coming at your way. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay, they could have done that so much better. But nonetheless, it's important. I think his responsibility as far as not living such a lavish lifestyle that he thought he was going to for being a superhero, and that he was going to have more responsibility, which comes back full circle. With more power comes more responsibility. Great power comes. Okay, so that's what I was going with. And with Spider-Man, and it's just like, wow, that's actually a foreshadow in Iron Man 2, technically, that they made work.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Am I missing something? Great power comes great responsibility.
I would say that going back to Iron Man 2, the opening scene when so we go back to Iron Man 1. Sorry, I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then the next time we see him is in Hulk. When he tricks
Ross
not going after Hulk
and talking about the Avengers Initiative, right?
Right.
Okay. Because he was too he was too upset that he like couldn't catch the Hulk.
He couldn't catch the Hulk.
Like he had him, but then he took off.
Oh, real quickly, the Incredible Hulk happened in between 2008.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about that movie. But go ahead.
And then we see the next time we see him after that is the opening scene for Iron Man, in which you can see clearly.
Actually, that's the good one. I'm lying. That's the Incredible Hulk. That's the one with Edward Norton. The other one happened before. Excuse me.
Yes.
Right,
I talk out of place. Sorry.
In Iron Man 2, the opening scene is basically him. Just at the Stark Expo, just flamboyant, flying around. Welcome,
which
to the
makes
Stark.
sense.
And he has like his suit underneath, like the Iron Man suit. Come on.
I mean, come on. That'd be if you had an Iron Man suit.
I would do it. I would do it. Mm-hmm. I would wear the Iron Man suit to work. I would wear the Iron Man suit.
Give it a security key.
And if you look at it like from a bird's eye view, like in that opening scene, a lot of like the expo, if you look at it, that's like Disneyland. If you think,
wow.
And even later on, when he is trapped at home, and Nick Fury like gives him like all that box of his like dad's old stuff and whatnot, and he puts on like the video of his dad like shooting like all these like videos and stuff.
Outtakes.
That's actually a nod to Walt Disney. When he did his stuff and he was like introducing like what he had plans for Disneyland and all this stuff, like I thought that was pretty, because I think at the time Disney had bought Marvel, right?
Yeah, it had just happened.
So it's
2009, I think.
Right.
Maybe 2008.
Yeah.
Drawing Mickey Mouse with Wolverine claws was a big thing.
Somewhere in these movies is a hidden Mickey, I'm sure.
Yep.
I wouldn't doubt it. All right. I guess let's talk about Iron Man 3 in 2013.
There was an Iron Man 3?
Yeah, that's how bad this was. First of all,
it wasn't that bad.
They not only nerfed the Mandarin. How do you nerf an actor? How do you nerf a character? A legit character in the Marvel universe. But the ending. Oh, can we talk about who the villains were and how they got their powers and how Pepper was also super powered?
It's exactly like The Incredibles.
I think
but way worse.
It was what was that plant that they had? It was was it Prometheus or?
I honestly don't.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I really don't. My only disappointment is pretty much, I'm pretty much gonna like roll with what you said. Just the Mandarin, man. Like I'm a big Ben Kingsley fan. Ever since watching Gandhi. Since then I've been a fan of his work, and everything he's done since then has been like incredible. But so to hear then that the Mandarin role was going to be played by Kingsley, I was like all for it. I couldn't wait. I was like, let's do this, because it's like he, they made him seem like a badass in the cartoons, if you remember. Like he was like the arch nemesis of Tony Stark, Iron Man, and so
was he the leader in the Ten Rings also?
Yes. Well, I don't know if he had his own like army and stuff, but the 10 rings is a reference to the 10 rings that he has on each of his fingers, so having Iron Man 3 play out, and I'm watching and I'm like yeah.
The crazy thing is those rings are actually I think recently were sentient themselves in a sense. So like they could have, it was before all this, but they could have went so far.
Right.
How they did the Mandarin, I felt like it was like their way of laughing at Hollywood.
I felt cheated. I felt very cheated.
Right. Like I understand the message behind it, if the message is what I think it is, but then it's just like he's still a comic book villain that's really dope that you know what I'm saying, that you have to go against.
But wasn't he like an actor?
Actor,
Trevor, actor Trevor.
So and then
and he still goes to jail for it.
He still goes to jail. I don't feel as harsh about Iron Man 3.
I need to see it again.
I take it as it is.
I'm not.
The first hour of the movie was really good, and then the last 45 minutes of the movie was pretty bad.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I feel like watching Iron Man 3, is like trying to learn more math than you need to. All right, and don't get me wrong, to people who are mathematicians, scientists, all those great things, right? Algebraists. That's not even a word. So, like, you know, I know PEMDAS. That's it. That's all I need to know. Long division, I know it. Multiplication, what are you trying to do? You know.
But once you add like letters and shit, like I was just everything's all downhill.
Because like, okay, let's talk about the core of who Tony was in the beginning, right? Tony was still dealing with being Iron Man, right? They flushed it out. He's trying to be serious with Pepper for the last 2 films. Not really weighing his options. They had some dope scenes, like saving. I think he was in Miami, and he was saving like a whole bunch of people. Yeah, from the plane that fell from the plane.
House, from Air Force One.
Yes,
that was a dope scene.
That was a dope scene, right? And then when he got hit by the bus, we were like, "Oh no, he's dead!" It just broke apart, and it wasn't really him. It was like, okay, that's the Tony we know. When he got captured, and he was like calling the suit. He's like, "You're gonna pay for this," you know, like he's getting. That was dope.
All these scenes that you're describing, honestly, I don't remember any of them. I've seen it, but I don't remember.
Do you remember the ending?
The ending was for.
So like at the end, right? He cures like Pepper because it was like this, I don't know, whatever that was. It was plant disease, whatever. It was plot hole, whatever. So he does all that, cures her, makes sure everything's good, blah blah blah.
All I remember is that he blows up all his Iron Man suits.
Yes, that's what I'm getting to. He destroys all of his suits, and
go ahead.
Yeah, no.
Oh, and he has the surgery to remove the
arc reactor.
The arc reactor from his chest.
Which I'm confused about because we see it later.
We don't see it. We see it again in Iron Man in Infinity War. We don't see it again for the rest of for the other.
Oh, the period. That's what I'm talking about.
You mean like bare chested, like?
Well, we never see him bare chested. Right. We also don't see the bump from the arc reactor. Yeah. Like, you know, usually when he has a shirt on, you can see it glowing through.
Yeah.
And after that, and in Age of Ultron, Civil War, Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, they definitely hit it up. But then in Infinity War, he not only has a suit, right? Well, actually, didn't he have it in Black Panther?
He was in Black Panther. You mean Civil War?
He was in Black Panther.
Iron Man?
Iron Man was in Black Panther.
No.
Black? Yes. Because... I mean, Civil War. You're right. No, I'm sorry. And Black Panther, because he pulled out the hand and he stopped the bullet from being shot. Yeah. So then, didn't he have it then?
No.
When it was hidden.
It was hidden. Remember, he did because the only reason he had it in Infinity War was for the nanobots.
Yeah.
He needed a place for it to house. So that's why he just was like, oh, cut that hole back.
Because if you think about it, most of the time in Civil War, he had a suit. He had a suit. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and the only gadget that he pulled out was like the thing with the watch.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the only, and the other times, he already had the suit on.
I'm very disappointed in you, Tony. You destroyed all your suits.
But in Iron Man 3, the reason, and here's the reason why I really like the movies because of
you liked Iron Man 3.
I like certain threads in Iron Man 3. I like the.
I feel like if he can say that, I can say I like Fantastic Four. Oh, how the tables have turned!
I like the post traumatic, the PTSD that he had. I love that because that was a direct reference to the missile in Avengers.
Yeah,
direct because he was gonna die in Avengers.
He thought he was gonna sacrifice himself. He was gonna make in space. Listen, space is silent. He's gonna run out of oxygen. Who knows? I wish that on nobody.
You know, and we'll get to like the
what was the end?
The character traits of Iron Man. I guess towards the end.
Yeah, we can do that.
But just that itself is enough to drive everybody insane. And as much as the other Avengers, other than Thor. Nobody had an idea of what to do with that.
Yeah.
Nobody had an idea what to do with that. And for him to do that, and to this is 2 movies in a row he sacrificed himself. Age of Ultron. He was willing to sacrifice himself, which in Avengers and Age of Ultron. He was willing to sacrifice himself because he thought he was going to die in Age of Ultron also.
Mm-hmm. So, like, look at Tony grow up. I was going to say briefly, like, you look at some of the characters and how they dealt with death is totally different. Captain America, the first Avenger, willingly plunged himself into ice, thinking he was dead, that was it. And he was frozen. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Black Widow was grew up in a school where it's like you were pretty much gonna die if you didn't pass. You know what I'm saying? So she dealt with it by killing other. I'm saying she dealt with it by killing other people, but like that's blocked. You know what I'm saying? Like she dealt with it in a different type of way. Bruce Banner, the Hulk, has tried killing himself so many times, he's given up. He spat the bullet out numerous times. You know what I'm saying? I want to say Hawkeye.
Hawkeye had to. He was an assassin. I'm
right.
Sure
they don't really build on that, but I'll give him that. You know what I'm saying? Thor is just like
it totally like I overlooked that in the first Thor. I was just like, is that Hawkeye? You know? Like I didn't think about it. I just was like thinking, why is his eyebrows like bleached blonde? You know, like why? But you know, going back to Iron Man 3, what was the end credit scene?
Wasn't it with Rufio, the Hulk? What were they doing?
He was just basically telling. So Iron Man 3 was basically him telling this because all right, let's go back to the way Iron Man 3 starts. Was Iron Man starts narrating something, and he goes, and then that's when matter of fact, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
And then he starts talking from because the movie opens up with the Iron Man suits blowing up.
Yeah.
Then he goes, and that's when I knew everything was going. He was like, matter of fact, let me start from the beginning.
Yep. And
he started talking again, and that's when the movie really starts. So the ending of the movie was basically him talking to Bruce Banner as if he was being like in a what is it called? Like as if Bruce Banner was a psychiatrist.
Oh, I see.
And Bruce Banner was sleeping the entire time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't no major.
It wasn't something that would like a build up or lead up to something else. It was just them talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the last minute.
You know, out of all the movies I own in the MCU, that's like the only one that I don't have. Iron Man 3.
Fair. I pick and choose. Like if Iron Man went on sale,
because I'm still like, you know what? Honestly, I'm still like back and forth. Like, should I buy it? Should I get it? You know, like I'm looking at it like from two different angles. Get it because it's part of the MCU. Continuity. Mm-hmm. And then not get it because it was bad.
I'd probably no. You know what?
Because I don't honestly. There's a lot of bad movies out there, and I don't own any of them.
There's certain ones I would get that's pretty bad. Like I would get Age of Ultron because although as a whole movie it wasn't the greatest, but it had little things that made it shine, like them trying to lift up Thor's hammer, Captain America, which you said you believe he did. I actually like Ultron's little monologue when he first came out, and then the next one I think when they were they in a ship, whatever little company, like he had a little monologue. I thought that was deep. Of course, Hawkeye threatened to like kill Quicksilver was dope, and he's like nobody would know. That became like such a famous meme, So like little things like that, I wouldn't get Iron Man.
I think Age of Ultron is better than Iron Man 3. And I have it, so like I said, I mean, it's not. I don't think Iron Man 3 is an entirely like bad movie. Mm-hmm. I just felt cheated of the Mandarin character.
I proudly show my Iron Man 3 DVD, Blu-ray, and digital download.
What's the code?
7B62.
All right, so we got to move forward. So. He wasn't in the Dark World for Thor. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. He wasn't in the Winter Soldier.
He was mentioned.
Right? Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy, which blew us all away. Mm-hmm. We fast forward to Age of Ultron. I like this Tony Stark because it seems like he's well wishes, just bad actions. Because I mean, they didn't have Dr. Pym. They didn't have Dr. Pym then.
No.
Right.
Because that's what happens in the comic, right? Yeah. It was actually Pym that created Ultron, not...
And Ultron freaking... he didn't brainwash him, but he did pretty much brainwash him. Like, he made him forget that he created him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, like, all that... Like, when he appeared, they thought he was a new threat, and then they found out, no, you created him. And he was like, I don't remember anything. Dr. Pym is a crazy character back in the day. Yeah. I think he beat his wife... In and out of marriage, and then he was just like,
wait,
was he an alcoholic?
He beat his wife?
Yeah,
it was Dark Comics. It was
the Wasp. Yeah, he used to beat her.
Damn.
Yeah, look it up, man. I mean, I don't think they're gonna bring that up.
I thought Speedy shooting up heroin was bad, but
that was drug awareness. You know what I'm saying? This one was more like, pow, put on the wings and let's go.
Don't make me scratch my knuckles.
That's horrible. We shouldn't joke about domestic violence, but
it's horrible.
But no, he was a bad character then. And
was he like? I'm sorry to cut you off. What like? Have you guys seen Ultimate Avengers, like the animated?
Which one? Oh no. I haven't seen. I only saw one.
Okay. The way that Pym is portrayed in that cartoon, was that like the same sort of like cockiness and egotistical, like sort of?
He was cocky in the.
In the comics,
I was gonna
like
say,
that,
he was more so towards the end. Like after he joined it, I want to say later on, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't read all the Avenger comics like that early on, because I'm not gonna lie to you. So what I did was, I happened to find a friend who on his hard drive had all the X-Men comics ever made digitally. That took me about a month
to read through.
Oh my god. Y'all can't talk to me about the Marauders. Oh my god. Y'all can't talk to me about Genosha. Like, because I sometimes hate when they have like that old style of comics, but I had to pay attention, and it was just like, oh my god. And then he also had the Avengers, and I was just like, yeah, Skippy. Because there's so much literature, and I'm doing this while I was at work, not my current job, but anyway,
disclaimer.
But it's just like it was so much. He was cocky and like kind of like full of himself towards the end, and I think he was spiraling down like a really bad hole from what I saw.
Okay,
kind of like what Reed Richards was doing at some point too. Like at one point, Reed Richards was dark, but then they brought him back and all this other stuff.
Okay,
and I don't remember how Ant-Man, how Pym changed from that. I just remember I was never a real Ant-Man fan.
They might have just started over.
Yeah,
they might have honestly just started. Like, you know what? We're gonna write him something. Like, what's okay? Remember Dr. Light? Y'all know who Dr. Light is? Totally DC.
The name sounds familiar, but I can't recall what he looks like.
All right, I'm gonna save that for later. Go ahead. We'll talk about that. But if you guys look up Dr. Light, and to the listeners, that's a messed up dude. But we'll talk about that now.
Okay.
So Age of Ultron.
Yes.
Tony, you know what? I'm gonna get a little closer. Tony, at this point, creates Ultron along with what's his face, Bruce Banner. And it's like they.
If you're gonna tell the story, please tell it correctly. Sir.
Oh, okay. Please tell me.
I mean, I'm just saying he was a woman by the name of Scarlet Witch. Played mind games with him.
Oh,
so I'm just pointing out. You can continue. I'm just saying.
Wait, played mind games with Banner?
Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Remember the beginning?
Oh, right. Yes.
I mean, she played mind games, but did she really directly influence him to create it? What happened? Bring the receipts, sir.
Well, she showed him the future. As we all know, you can't show somebody the future. You can't show Tony Stark.
I feel like she didn't know that was going to happen, and then I feel like she was a victim of circumstance. Oh, okay. I see the wheels turning, the cogs.
Okay. So I'm going to continue. All right.
He's not even looking at me, people. He's like looking up. He's like trying to find a way in which.
Trying to find someone. All right. Okay. Here
Scarlet Witch wasn't a victim of circumstance. Go ahead.
She wasn't a victim of circumstance. She signed on for the program willingly. I don't believe she was coerced. I think she signed her name on the dotted lines.
But I mean, didn't they? I'm trying to think which movie had that that end credit scene. I think it was Winter Soldier. Didn't they have them caged up? And like you saw Scarlet Witch like
that was Guardian of the Galaxy. Towards the end with the Collector.
Yes, Guardians.
You sure?
Yeah, because it was the Collector. He had the gem
with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch
in the tubes. Yes, because that was the.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the end of Winter Soldier.
We're gonna look this one up. Okay,
we'll fact check that.
Yeah,
we'll fact check that.
I'm pretty sure it was the end of Winter Soldier, and they had Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch locked up, and Scarlet Witch looks like she was not aware of where she was or where her state of mind was. I think there might have been a bit of possibly mind control, maybe at that particular moment, and then as they came out of it, I'm assuming a lot has gone down between that scene and Age of Ultron, and so there's a lot of missing info that we don't know about, and so I'm going to assume that both of them were like at least influence in somehow.
I would agree with that, but then I will also say that this moving franchises for a bit. Jason Bourne also signed on for that experiment on his own free will. So regardless, whatever happened between when he signed the dotted lines to the beginning of Bourne 1, I mean, is he a bad guy, or is he just somebody who just wants to renege on his deal? I think
so. Unless there's another scene, the Winter Soldier scene was when he meets Jesus Christ, what is his name? I'm singing a song. Nick Fury at the cemetery, and they have that talk. And remember, I think she gives him the folder in which he has to find out the truth about a lot of different things that's been going on that they've been hiding from.
Unless there's the folder that said Winter Soldier killed.
Right.
Or his assassination.
But I'm talking about the after credits scene.
Wasn't the after credits scene with Bucky at the museum?
That was the.
You're probably right, but I don't remember.
Now it's after.
I mean, everything is all like back and forth. I mean, that might have been it, because but then again, doesn't Marvel usually show like two, like there's a post credit scene and then there's an after credit scene. Yeah. I think
Bucky's at the museum.
Bucky's at the museum at the end of Winter Soldier.
At the end, yep.
Like after the credits.
Yep.
So where the hell?
I'm telling you, it's Guardians, man. I'm telling you, it's Guardians.
Guardians, or was it Thor?
Now it's Thor. Flips table.
Dark World. I don't know.
It was whatever.
You know,
but you guys are aware of like the scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, we know. Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's like it starts off with the guy that's at the beginning of Age of Ultron,
right?
You know, and so he's talking about his plan and all that. And next thing you know, there's a shot of Scarlet Witch.
He said we have the twins.
Exactly, right. Mm-hmm. You know, he has. You know, we have the twins, and you see Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch make their big screen debut. But Scarlet Witch looks like she's been taking way too much LSD, probably. I don't know.
No, you are right. I'm thinking the Collector and Guard. How did they get to the Guardians?
No, the Collector, wasn't that at the end of the Dark World when they
was in Thor?
Yeah, because they give him.
I'm so tired of these scenes.
What was it called?
The Ether.
The Aether, right?
The
they because they give it.
Stone.
Yeah, they give it to him because they already had the Tesseract on Asgard because they didn't want to keep two stones together.
Right,
but they didn't know that
the Collector had, I think, the Power Stone. Right? Or was that in Guardians of the Galaxy where he ends up with it?
He ended up with it for a short period of time, but they took it back. Remember, the Guardians took it back at that same point.
Okay.
Anyway, I just want to shout out my homegirl, Black Widow, not Scarlet Witch, because what happened was she signed up for this thing called a team. Okay, they happened to share the spoils of what was going on. They happened to discover this. She didn't know it was the future that she was showing Tony, because she couldn't see that. Mm-hmm. My client, Black Widow, is not actually guilty of showing Tony.
You mean Scarlet Witch?
Black Widow. Well, if we're gonna say Scarlet Witch, too, ooh, I see what you did there. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. My client, Tony, has nothing else to say. Not guilty. I liked it. It was a dope movie. Obviously, it wasn't all that dope, but it was pretty dope. I will say this.
Isn't that what was like the initial reaction when the second one came out? Like they thought it was all right, and it wasn't. It didn't live up to
the first one. But can we? Okay. Realistically speaking, was the second one better than the first Avengers movie? I thought the second one was better. I thought the first, to be real with you, the first one was dope. It was campy. It was lighthearted. It was funny. You know, it brought everybody together. The best scene, two best scenes, fight scenes wise, is when the Hulk, like I'm always angry, and he like takes down that shit by himself. And we're just like, holy crap. Actually, three best scenes. When he does that thing to Loki, that Loki ends up like telling Thor, see how it feels, right, you know, Ragnarok.
Puny God.
You know, and then of course when Iron Man almost comes close to dying. Like that, and then the Hulk scares him up. Those are like really dope scenes.
Right.
Fast forward to Age of Ultron. They're more of a family, or more of a team now. You know, like they even start, like the movie starts out with them having like a little party and then trying to pick up the hammer, and then then it kicks off, and it's just like, you're responsible for what you did. You did this, bro. Remember that you did this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then they kind of like, they don't really mention it in that movie, but then also they kind of make sure like they're starting to feel the responsibility of like, misusing their powers.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
They feel the weight of the world
right.
on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm. They don't really harp in on that. They save that for Civil War, not Black Panther, in which he brought out his suit. But yeah, that, like you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like realistically, just like the script was better. Maybe how they executed wasn't as great.
Mm-hmm. I have a few issues. With
one of you picked
with Age of Ultron.
Okay.
I did love Age of Ultron.
Okay.
To me, first thing, that first Avenger movie, I don't think we will ever see it. In my opinion, I don't think I'll ever go into a movie and leave a movie with that same feeling of I've never seen this before.
Okay.
You know, that's something that we've never seen done right.
Okay.
Justice League.
I
know he's looking at me. He's looking at we'll Justice League didn't get that reaction.
Okay.
I still think you need to see the Ultimate fan cut.
Listen. You know my major pips with this movie. Please do not make me say it on this episode. All right, I'm going to say it anyway. First of all, okay, like Batman versus Superman, the full movie, all right, was not shown in theaters, and I had to buy a DVD to see it. And there's a DVD that's not DVD. There's an extra version, an extra cut that makes the movie version much better to watch. You understand? Like, I have to go through the house first. Second of all,
well, now you know the website to go to see these things. Thank you, Korea.
Thank you. The second thing is, of course, oh my God, they totally reneged Superman from BVS all the way to Justice League. They totally did. I'm sorry. These are your mans. These are your mans.
And they are. And I still stand by blaming the executives at Warner's. At DC, we didn't. Okay. In my opinion, is at no fault. He was just following orders, and I think he. And to me, I think he did the best of his ability to try to keep Zach's true vision.
Like we're at a conference. My client, you know. No. I totally understand. I totally respect that. The last thing I will say is, the first Avenger, Captain America, Steve Rogers, had a better face-over than Superman, which came years later in. Wait for it. Justice League.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Easy.
How?
However, I was reading somewhere that, couldn't WB capitalize on his facial hair?
I will say,
that's what I mean. Like, why not just do the black suit?
Like they could have written the whole black suit thing in the movie at some point. Because I mean, if he had long hair in the comics, then why not?
He also,
facial hair.
I will say this. It's actually on HBO right now. Justice League is actually on HBO. And believe it or not, they updated that first scene where you see Superman and it doesn't look like he's wearing, I want to say, glue or some kind of paste over his face, hiding a mustache. It actually looks like they did a good job.
I gotta
take a look at it. Let me know what you think. Because I looked at it the other day. I was like, oh, I'm not going to tell Brooklyn Boy T this. I'm going to let him feel it.
All right, so going back to Age of Ultron.
Listen, what more can be said except Tony? I think this is kind of like the one that kind of puts Tony in a paranoia state because now he's definitely feeling his actions more. So before it was like, I don't have to do anything, live life lavishly. Oh God, I got responsibilities now. All right, I'm just gonna end it all. That's how I deal with it. But then I'm still a hero. People know me, and then my responsibilities are coming back, even when I'm trying to do good.
Yeah. And moving back a little bit at the end of Iron Man 3, and this is what a lot of people were confused by. At the end of Iron Man 3, he took out the arc reactor, and it was the perfect end to an Iron Man trilogy.
Yes,
but it was a horrible end for Iron Man in the MCU.
Agreed.
Because the very next movie, here he is, the very first scene, suited up again.
Yeah,
no explanation.
How sway?
And it's like. But I love that opening scene, and to me, it did not need an explanation.
I mean,
but I would have liked an explanation.
But if you think about it, Rhodey wears the suit, but he doesn't have a arc reactor.
Right.
But it was almost metaphor. Is that right?
Metaphor.
It was a metaphor. Metaphorically, when he blew up his suits, took out the arc reactor, and then him saying that I don't need the suits to be Iron Man. And he was like, because regardless, and he said that same line again I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then that's how the movie ended. And then Age of Ultron starts. He already has the new suit.
As usual. He can't stop creating them. That's dope.
He has to. But I think we saw a problem in Age of Ultron that we did not see in Iron Man 3, and his paranoia, because that's what he created Ultron. He created the Ultron Initiative in a sense to say, okay, the House Party Protocol, with all the suits, evolved into the Ultron, the Ultron Initiative.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that it just got corrupted, by the Mind Stone and what the Russians were doing. Oh, were they Russians? Or the...
Was it? What was the name of that place?
Sokovia.
And what the Sokovians were doing.
We'll say Sokovians.
With the Mind Stone.
It's crazy. That Mind Stone is always causing trouble, man. Yeah. At this point, is the Mind Stone... trying to think. Does the Mind Stone have... Yes, it does. It has the Red Skull currently, right? No, that's the Soul Stone. Soul Stone. So, I do want to say before, because I'm going to let you go speak, definitely. I'm going to let you have the moment, but... Iron Man 1 was the best Iron Man. I think it's crazy that he grew in this spectacle. You know what I'm saying? He went from being celebrated to you have to deal with responsibility and you've hit a new low, and then now you're like, okay, I'm back, I'm doing my thing, and it's like everything I'm touching right now, which seems to be gold, is coming back to bite us. And what we forgot to even talk about is how it affects the team.
Right.
He went behind the team's back.
Once again, Black Widow had nothing to do with this. But go ahead.
Let me see. Yeah, he does go behind the team's back, and it definitely creates the tension starts the moment they find out what Tony's been up to. And if you look at it from there on out, it changes, and it's never the same again. Now there's this
that's where it starts.
Distrust, I guess you could say, towards and it's not even towards each other. It's mostly towards Stark.
Yeah, was it said in that movie, or maybe I read it? Tony has a way of looking at people but not seeing them as people.
Right.
I wouldn't call it distrust. What I would say is you second guess Tony Stark's actions.
There you
sounds
go.
like distrust. But okay, I hear where you're coming from.
Because was he wrong? Let's start there. Was Tony wrong?
Yes, and he was wrong to go behind somebody. You know what I'm saying? The whole point is to have it out in the open. Right? So we're working on something.
They would have never agreed to it.
The
Avengers would have never agreed to it.
They would never agree to it, but I can still see it from Tony's perspective in the fact that he's still trying to get used to being in a team, especially when he's coming from a position where he's used to doing things himself.
I just do.
Which is fine. I totally respect and accept that. However, you're in the team. Blockbuster team. You guys are stopping level world threats. You know what I'm saying? World level threat, excuse me. And it's just you did this behind, the teams, but it doesn't really help. You know what I'm saying? You understand you're used to doing your own thing, but you know what I'm saying? The only reason why Bruce Banner, they give him his space is because he turns into a rampaging Hulk that they can't control.
Right.
But if he could control it, he'd be all in the sauce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. But also though, it wasn't even
the Avengers sauce.
He meant it wasn't even he meant to do it. Because I'm pretty sure that if he was just running diagnostics, if he would have got it to the point where he's ready to present it, he would have presented it to the team. It was just that he was okay, I'm gonna do this, and then when it's time, I'll tell them.
You know who he's in a sense?
Batman.
Also, I was gonna keep it within the same universe. He's like Reed Richards. Because once Reed gets engulfed, he's engulfed.
Once he's focused, he's.
Can you imagine them both meeting in a movie?
I can't wait. Well, I hope. Tony is still around when that does happen.
But also, he's not only coming from a position where he's used to doing things on his own, on his own terms. He doesn't need a team. But he's also coming from what Scarlet Witch did to him in the beginning of Age of Ultron. So that paranoia still lingers in the back of his mind, you know, whereas like, you know, well, do I consult with the team or do I take matters into my own hands?
She was coerced, okay? She didn't know what she was doing. She was not of sound mind.
She was on her own free will.
We're going to go into that. So obviously Ant-Man came out 2015, really dope movie. And then Captain America Civil War. And right off the bat, I think this is what split friends. You either Team Cap, or you were Team Stark.
Right.
You know?
Me and Mike didn't talk for 2 months when this movie came out. Did we see it in theaters together?
Yes, we did. Of course we did. Of course we did. We left out of there like, what do you mean? You know? So
I didn't care. I just wanted to see the action fights.
Nah, man. Captain America's my dude. So
Iron Man all day, every day.
Anyway.
I like both characters, and I like that they both went out of their way to really go after their beliefs.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose, I would probably end up choosing Team Captain America.
Cap was wrong. Cap was wrong.
Is he? But is he wrong in a sense where like do you think?
How is he wrong? Let's go. You
don't think that he had every right to say or every right to feel that he just can't trust like the military or the army anymore like that?
Yeah, don't worry. Oh wait, before you do that,
yes,
because I definitely want to say Tony Stark in this movie was definitely
Tony Stark.
Yeah, Tony Stark. I'm not Captain America.
Okay.
Tony Stark was definitely had his parents, the idea of his parents on his back, because like when he was thinking about responsibility, when he was thinking about his worth and what he's done, like his parents, which ironically kept coming back and forth, you know, like kept playing a role figure, but we were more focused on the assassination when it came to him.
Right.
But go ahead.
All right. So this movie starts off with an accident that happens. You know, Scarlet Witch, once again, is in the center of it, but that's neither here or there. But we find Iron Man in a position again where he is still obsessed with security, and that's something that keeps him up at night. That's something that bothers him, and now not only is he dealing with that, he's now dealing with, again, like Iron Man 1, the consequences of his actions,
right?
That he had turned a blind eye to. So now, move forward.
I'm mad he made Scarlet Johansson, Black Widow. I mean, like she was there too. Okay,
yeah.
She was there.
Scarlet Witch, like you trying to make her like the Jar Jar Binks of Star Wars. Misa mess up. Misa Sif. Like that's what hit me while he was talking. I had to get that out. Like
Misa mess up.
You know? Yeah, I'm sorry.
So now, from Iron Man's perspective. And we haven't spoke about the fact that he came full circle in Civil War.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Okay, so in the first couple of movies, he was anti-government, and then him and Cap kind of end up on. You know, Cap was pro-government, anti-government for Iron Man, and then by the Civil War, by the time they meet in Civil War, they're on the exact opposite side.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think from Iron Man's perspective, you know, he's the guy who holds the nuclear codes. He's involved in the government as it is. So he's just saying, hey, we've made some public mistakes, and let's just try to, as a group, accept.
No, Cap said there's Hydra still out there, okay?
Listen.
He said it without saying it.
If one hand is still on the wheel, they can control where they're going.
No, you can't.
Yes.
It was shown in the Winter Soldier. Hell, you even brought it up that the guy they wanted to hand the Iron Man suit over was Hydra.
Yes.
Oh my god. So
we're not handing over any of their weapons. There's just their response team.
Okay.
It's just the response team. If something's going on...
I'm sorry.
I'm
interrupting you too much. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And the government is telling them, hey, you know, if they got to accept limitations. You have to accept limitations. And that is why I side with Iron Man, not only because from a technological standpoint, because everybody knows I love technology.
Safety issue?
It's safety. You can't run around gung-ho. And if you can't accept responsibility, you're just as bad as the bad guys. And Cap showed that, because everybody thinks Cap was all, I'm doing this for the right reasons. No, he did it because his friend was on the other side.
First of all, sir, all right, let's get the facts straight. Let's get the facts straight.
His friend was on the other side. That's the only reason.
here's what really happened, okay? First of all, when it came to that accident that happened, everybody keeps blaming the Scarlet Witch. Oh, the Scarlet Witch fault. She tried to divert that from happening. Okay, it wasn't her fault.
It was Cap's fault because he said Bucky.
All right, he was distracted.
Said Bucky.
I'm sorry. Is Cap Ultron? Is he a robot, an android? He's a superhero who's a human being who's been frozen for over 40, 50, 60, 70 years. He's still catching up to the world. He just found out his government betrayed him in the previous movie. I'm sorry, did you forget that? They almost killed him. Yep. They almost killed his behind.
Agreed.
Okay? So he's out here trying to do
good. He's by himself. He was by himself in that movie. He was not with the other Avengers.
Well, he had Black Widow, too.
How does that count?
She was there. She was there. Nick Fury was there.
Nick Fury doesn't count.
Falcon
wasn't an Avenger yet.
This is what happens when you like Justice League, all right?
Because you guys give
it doesn't count.
No.
You guys give us DC guys rap for the
and I will
Martha
continue
line,
to do that. I want you to.
But when he goes Bucky, Cap froze.
First of all, that's not even a comparable diagram. Okay, that's not even a Venn diagram. Okay,
we're gonna watch it on DVD.
Okay, so check this out.
As many times as you say Martha, he's gonna come back and say Bucky.
Thanks for giving him that. First of all, he said Bucky. He hesitated. Okay, he didn't change. And he was like, you know what? I'm gonna Hail Hydra. He didn't need it. First of all, Superman, all right, said save Martha, and all of a sudden Batman, who's this killer now, decided, you know what, I'm not going to kill you anymore. Let's be friends. Let's be friends and work together. Martha.
Yeah, you know what?
Agreed.
Okay. Okay.
Agree to disagree.
Bucky.
That's how it played out in the movie. I'm just saying.
You're right. That's exactly how it played out in the movie.
You're right. But here's how it played out in Civil War.
Okay.
He was fighting. He had the fight won. He took his mask off, and then he goes, he remembered you. Who? Your pal, your buddy, your Bucky. And he froze and allowed a bomb to go off in front of him.
That is fair.
Right.
He was human, sir. He's human, okay? You can't knock that on him. He's human.
And Bruce Wayne isn't human.
Bruce Wayne is an egotistical MFer, okay? Okay? He does a lot of things on his own that he thinks he can. When Alfred, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, rest in peace, because I don't know if he's alive or dead. Dick Grayson. All these people try to help him out, and he's just like, you know what? How about no? So you can't come with me with that.
You just explained Cap in this movie.
No. He was working with 4 other Avengers.
Exactly.
How? It's not the same. First of all, he was going to help Scarlet Witch get her feet wet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Black Widow was also there. Falcon. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
I think that was it. It was just
so it was all 4. It was those 4, right?
Yeah.
And they were enough to handle what's going on.
He thought there was enough.
First of all, she stopped the bomb. She
killed Wakandans. She killed Wakandans.
Okay, first of all, you hit me hard with that one, all right? Forever Wakanda, all right?
but not intentionally, though.
Exactly.
It wasn't intentional.
All right. And she stopped the bomb. It
wasn't her fault.
It wasn't.
I put the blame on Cap.
I blame the guy.
She was a newbie.
How about this? I blame the guy who knew Captain America personally, that used to work for the government, turned tails, kind of worked for Hydra, and decided he was going to go after Cap. That's the guy I blamed. Okay, we all act like superheroes are invincible, but we all read stories in which a superhero has either come close to dying or suffered a horrible loss. I.e. Jason Todd. Okay?
Agreed.
Okay. So that's what happened, okay? Second of all, I support Captain America because you know what? Let's be real. We all need limitations. There's a saying that, do you have the power to let power go? All right? And honestly, I'd like to think so. Sir, I'm going to have to. No. He did. But you know what? He did not. He's fresh off of Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. He's fresh off of Winter. He's not giving that to them.
He's fresh off of Winter Soldier just as much as Tony is fresh off of that Scarlet Witch nightmare.
Yeah.
That paranoia. And again, that weight of responsibility where it's like, it's not just him anymore. It's everyone.
And as much as a futurist, they called him a futurist in the movie, as Tony is, that's something that could possibly happen. It's more than likely to happen, but it could possibly happen. Here's something that already happened.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, here's something that oh yeah, I almost died numerous times by being betrayed by people who I thought was close to me, who also tried to kill me, and the people close to me, while evading and finding out that my government's corrupted by the same people I've been fighting over 70 years now.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you. I hear you. All I'm saying is, from Iron Man's perspective, I think he could care less about what people what.
He's not a team player.
No, I don't think he's not a team player. I just think it's like I could care less what who Hydra is and all these guys are. I'm not trying to stop the U.S. from taking over Russia. I'm stopping up there from coming down. And if we the more hands on deck we have to protect the Earth.
And that goes back to Avengers 1.
That goes back to Avengers.
Yeah. And see, my whole thing is like that's dope, and I feel Captain because like if you're gonna fight me, go ahead, fight me. I'll fight you back. Like. You ain't got that many super soldiers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got a whole team. We got a Hulk. Well, he was actually shot away in Ragnarok. Right. Did they ever explain how they got him into that ship? I know they did it via...
What ship?
The ship that took up... Was it the Quinjet they call it?
He jumped in it. So in Age of Ultron, he came through and he killed Quicksilver. And he shot at Hawkeye, Quicksilver... Cap and Scarlet Witch and Hulk. Hulk grabbed Scarlet Witch, dropped her off on the helicarrier, and then jumped into the ship, threw Ultron off, and then just kind of kept.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But from my understanding, I did not know that the Quinjet could go outer space.
Like space?
No. Like I was wondering, maybe I missed something. Where anyway.
But he flew into it, and I guess at some point, I don't know if he hit one of those
like vortexes and stuff.
Vortexes or one of those portals that Thor does.
Because they don't, that footage doesn't really show much. It just shows the ship going out of control.
Right.
So that could have been anything.
And the East is rising, whatever. Anyway, whatever they used to calm him.
Did anybody saw Deadpool 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes, yeah. I saw that.
He's like, the sun's getting low.
The sun's getting, yeah, there you go. So, oh man, Civil War is a dope movie. We can all agree to that. Man. Whether your team Cap, whether your team Cap or Cap, you know what I'm saying?
And I did love Cap in that movie. Don't get it wrong. Yeah. Like I absolutely love Cap.
And I'll definitely say Cap was wrong to hold that information back because I understand him and Tony were at odds. You know what I'm saying about what to do for the act, but that's something Tony, like, Tony's all about his family, about his mom and his dad. You know what I'm saying? He should have definitely made that aware when he was aware of that. And to be honest with you, you still blew my mind because at the end of Winter Soldier, which apparently I need to watch again, when they gave him the files that actually showed the assassination, which Bucky did, to know that from since then is like,
right.
And they've been together almost day in and day. I mean, I wouldn't say day in and day out.
Right.
But they've been together since Age of Ultron at that point, and then Civil War. And we can only imagine that they lived together, obviously, because everybody stayed at the Avenger compound.
Yep.
So
this was truly the worst superhero breakup I've ever seen. It had some great characters. Is it fair for me to say that Civil War, Captain America's Civil War, is technically the pre-version of the Avengers Infinity War?
Yeah.
And that whatever they did good, they mastered and perfected in Infinity War.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah. Easy.
There's a huge gap between the two, yeah.
I personally believe that in Infinity War, had the team been united and a full team, they would have beat Thanos. Okay. Because you saw they took him to bat on Titan. And by the time when he got that last Infinity Stone, by the time he ended up on Earth, he just, everybody, he walked through everybody other than Thor at the end. And even Thor at the end,
messed up.
Thor wasn't even acting like a team player. He hit him, and then he was cocky with it.
Talking that ish.
Cocky with it. Instead of taking it out and then...
I told you died for that.
Yeah. And I get it. I get why he did it. It was an awesome line.
Yeah.
But still, that's not... the team wasn't a team anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the two leaders are gone.
I mean, even in the beginning, Tony was very hesitant in calling Steve, Like, there's still that tension was still around, still there. Even if the fate of the war... Like, I mean, Banner said it. He's like, Thanos, like, it doesn't matter, like...
Had he called... Had he was able to make that phone call first, instead of Banner making that phone call after Tony, Spider-Man, and Strange are gone, if everybody was on Earth when that phone call was made, it would have been a completely different outcome.
Fair enough. All right.
Because they would have had both Infinity Stones in their grasp. With him not making that phone call, he allowed for Vision to get attacked. Because when about time Banner made that phone call, Cap and those guys and the Secret Avengers showed up late.
Yeah.
If they would have made that phone call when the fight first happened or whatever the case may be, I'm pretty sure they would have got there in time.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. All right. Yeah, because time zone. I just want to say, like, I'm just trying to think, like, how would they have gotten? Oh, they probably would have been all in space. All right, you got it. No, I agree with you. Yeah. I got no fault with that.
So they probably would have been minus at that point. They would have been minus the Guardians, but
yeah,
with the heavy hitters of
right,
like if
the heavy hitters of Groot,
if Iron Man and Spider-Man and Strange was in Wakanda, they didn't stand a chance.
Nah,
they didn't stand a chance.
But
two Infinity Stones.
I don't know, man. Thanos is badass.
But what prevented that also was the conflict with Tony and Doctor Strange. Like he's Tony's telling him, well, they want the stone, leave. Doctor Strange is like, this the stone stays with me. He's like, okay, well, bye. But Doctor Strange won't.
In your back pocket.
But he I don't know. I just felt like if Doctor Strange, to me, it just didn't seem like a very Doctor Strange sort of behavior in the opening moments of Infinity War.
Well,
really?
Yeah.
I thought that was almost exactly like Doctor Strange, where he was like,
But I mean, like, if he knows that they want the stone,
where was he gonna go? He can't. Where is he gonna go?
I mean, he could have transported himself somewhere like on Earth, like play like a game of cat and mouse, maybe to stall some time.
Yeah,
probably
he's just gonna cause people to die.
So I see what you're saying.
That's why Iron Man didn't want to go back to Earth to begin with. He was like, no, we can't. If we go back to Earth, like we gotta make our stand here, and I'm pretty sure he thought that they could beat him. Iron Man wouldn't have stayed if they couldn't beat him.
That's another thing. Doctor Strange and Iron Man are kind of like parallel to each other in a sense, where they're both cocky, very confident in their abilities. They are geniuses in their own right. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, I'm just seeing it for what it was. I mean, I'm not all too familiar with how the character of Doctor Strange actually is in the comics. Maybe he is that way, or
very cocky.
Is he?
Very cocky.
I mean, I know.
Maybe they tuned him down every now and again. It depends on the writer.
I mean, I know a lot of that.
He was overpowered.
I mean, I know a lot of that reflects from like pre-accident. Being the surgeon and all that. But then I was under the impression that once he got his powers, he might have wised up a bit. He
did. See, that's the crazy thing. No, you bring up very good points. See, after his master died, got her name, dope, whatever. Master Wong, right?
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to go into, like, the backlash she received for playing that character. I'm not going to go into it. But I will acknowledge that she did do it, but she still played the hell out of that character. She definitely did her thing. He humbled himself even more. See, the thing is, what people forget is, like, he was up here. He was one of those guys, like, I'm full of da-da-da. Then the accident, and he came down. He was on the lowest of lows. Mm-hmm. And then, like, when he started actually maturing his powers, it wasn't really a pike, but he was getting really confident of himself again. That's how I took it.
Okay.
And when his master died, he was like, holy crap, I'm in charge of all of this now. So now he lives his life in checks and balances. You understand? So he didn't want to give them the stone because he knew what was going to happen, all this other stuff. But he's still new to the arts, and he's like in a sense trying to buy time to see what he can do. Because at one point, remember, he was just checking the time zone to see like what's the best outcome when we win. Mm-hmm. And obviously, it's obviously the one way he gets it, but he has to go back to Earth. And it's just like, bruh, like, I think there's a lot of weight that comes with Doctor Strange, but they can't necessarily put it right then and there because time span, of which the last movie came out from before, Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, all that good stuff, the time span, and then they don't really have time to develop that character because like all these stories are kind of going on simultaneously, right. So it wouldn't be believable. But I think you're right. If it was like 5 years later, then it's like, all right, Doctor Strange, come on, don't you know a spell? You already what you do?
And
you trick Dormammu. Dormammu, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, the time loop.
Yep.
And that's another thing. I was like, I I know it's a movie, and I know there's a lot that you can like work with, but I was like, damn, yo, he had this stone, man. He could have just done whatever, like with Ebony Maw and all that stuff.
I think what we forget about Doctor Strange, and really quickly, some brief history. Doctor Strange knew every spell. He could warp time, reality. He was overpowered. He was probably the most powerful person, at least on Earth, if not in the Marvel universe that I'm aware of, before they like depowered him to make him more interesting and obviously have villains and blah blah blah. He's thinking about checks and balances, man. I feel like he's still developing as a character, and we haven't had too much movie or. All right, let's talk about that movie real quickly.
Well, before we go back into that movie, I will also say that.
God damn it!
One thing about him is he's not the Sorcerer Supreme yet. He's the master of the mystic arts,
right? Mm-hmm. So that's hopefully the next movie where he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. So and see that movie was crazy. I liked that movie, but it had to grow on me because all those graphics are just like, okay, but where's the movie underneath all this fluff? Mm-hmm. But that makes sense because it's such a humbling thing. That's what I get out of that. Tony Stark and Infinity War, and I actually want to kind of bring it back to Spider-Man Homecoming. It kind of shows the responsible, and I hate to say this, but dad he's become. Where he's no longer thinking about just being a hero, but the consequences of doing your actions. Because the way he came down on Peter and he took the suit back, I felt it. Mm-hmm. I felt it.
Yeah.
Dope movie, by the way, Spider-Man.
And he made a very valid point. If you believe that you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it.
It's great words. I can't feel, but it's somewhat contradictive. But it's still great words.
Yeah. Is it contradictive or is it I'm wiser now, so you don't follow in my footsteps?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Because we only have one movie to kind of say that it's wiser now. Well, we have a bunch of movies to say that he's wiser now, but I can't necessarily say it's contradictive either because all I have is Infinity War, and that's not fully played out. And the only thing I can say Infinity War is like, he's just like, go. Just go. He's not thinking of the ramifications of the universe in which he's in. He's just thinking of like what do they say? Me right now.
Too much Spider-Man or Iron Man? Sorry.
Iron Man.
Okay.
When he wants to give him the gem, you know what I'm saying? When he wants to give him the gem and have Thanos go about his way. Mm-hmm. It's double-sided. You understand? But
wait, what do you mean?
Okay, so
sorry, I lost you for a second. Sorry.
So learn from my experience is every movie of Iron Man and the ones he's featured in up until Spider-Man Homecoming. This is what I've done. I believe that was suit, that I got rid of the suit, but I'm still kind of the suit also, right? I say it's contradictive because as responsible as he is, as he makes himself be like, think yourself more so outside of the suit, you're internally thinking about yourself and planet Earth. You're not thinking about the universe in which you have the responsibility for having these stones. Mm-hmm. And you're in the same universe that's going to be affected.
Right.
That's all I'm saying, bro.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you.
Martha.
But also with Spider-Man, he even says in the movie he wants him to be better.
Better, yeah.
Be like, I don't want you to be like me. This is what I would do. Right. You're right. I would definitely do this. Mm. I need you to be better. Be safer. And I think in any father figure does not want their child to follow exactly in their footsteps. We like when, for instance, I grew up with my dad speeding and driving. He loves to drive. He loves to drive fast. And when I started driving, it was the same thing. And he was like, "You shouldn't do this," while I'm in the car with him doing 90 on the turnpike. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, and the same thing. Like I have a younger brother. And I won't ever tell them to drive like me. Please do drive the speed limit, but then at the same time you understand. So I think that's kind of where he was coming from, where it's like, just be safe first, because I don't want that on my conscience that you learned that from me and this is what got you into harm, put you in harm's way.
Yeah, this is why we don't allow you to drive us here because you drive fast. I drive
fast.
Well, I don't drive at all, so
he's still afraid for his life. No, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct, and correct. Correct is the new word. Correct. So like that's like dope. Like he made such an impact on that film, and he wasn't really on it. Shout out to the ending scene where he's like, "Oh, we got a new Avenger," and he was like, "Nah." And then Infinity War, and it's just like, wow, that ending scene. I will forever talk about that ending scene. That ending,
the one with him and
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I felt it.
The Captain America. So you patience. Like that whole little skit thing.
And Homecoming. That was one of the most unfulfilling.
Listen, I just want to say, that's when he was early. Anyway, I just want to say that scene in which Peter dies, which you should know by now because Infinity War is on DVD. When Peter dies, is comparable, I dare say, and I'm gonna bring this to DC, to Heath Ledger's hospital scene.
You might want to cover your ears, folks.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was improv, it was important, and it was still impactful.
Yeah. Right.
Now, if you want like a tearjerker, maybe the hospital scene with Two-Face, and you're like, oh, he's really gonna become Two-Face.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe. Or maybe the end. Ooh, now I gotta think. The end when Two-Face is about to...
there was so much point in that movie. There was so much point in that movie.
I opened up
my really quick, my favorite scene in Dark Knight. I mean, there's a lot of great moments, but my favorite scene was when they introduced him the way that he is normally introduced in the comics. He's like, what was the name? He's like, say it. He's like, Two-Face, Harvey Two-Face. Oh man, like, I mean, like, Two-Face is cool, but most of the time it's Harvey Two-Face, and it's like, man, like they did that great.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move forward. Do we want to hit Black Panther real quickly because I have some thoughts, but I can relax. I can say.
All right, Black Panther. I was a cultural phenomenal. It was just a great movie, and we spoke about this earlier. But no movie is perfect.
Yes.
There's absolutely any movie you look at, there's always something wrong with it, no matter what the movie is.
Oh my God! Star Trek and all those lens flares.
Black Panther was as close to a perfect movie,
Dark Knight,
that we can get.
Yep.
I put
DC
it right
Marvel.
there with there with Dark Knight.
Right.
Godfather.
The first
Star Wars.
Ooh.
In my opinion, it's right there with all.
Rogue One.
I would put Rogue One.
Right.
Infinity War to me was a really good one too. But moving back to Black Panther, by far, one of the best origin movies for a superhero, if not the best origin movie for a superhero.
Ooh, that's a good one. We're gonna have to come back to that because I may have to post that as an actual question. Just to add on to it, it's interesting to see how people thought this movie was overhyped. It's interesting to see how these people didn't like it because the CGI wasn't lackluster. Considering I watched Wonder Woman and there's some scenes I'm like, this doesn't add up, and that fight scene on the beach, I don't care what anybody says, was ballerinas in action. Okay,
I mean, I think. In my opinion, I think
hold on.
A lot of people.
Who? Hold on. I'm sorry. I have to get this jab in.
All right.
A better battle scene on a beach would be Power Rangers. Okay, Power Rangers from the 90s. You think of any beach that they were on or on any gravel, and that was better than Wonder Woman. Come at me, Mayhem Mike on Twitter. Mayhem on Twitter.
I can't disagree with that, Power Ranger fan.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just, in my opinion, even though I didn't see Black Panther in theaters, in my opinion, I believe the reason why a lot of people felt it was overhyped, is because, I just think Black Panther is just one of those characters, one of those movies where it was just long overdue. Like, can you? Would Hollywood have been able to make a Black Panther movie back in the 80s?
Nope, not successfully.
90s?
Not successfully, no.
Like, there's just some movies, if you're going to make them, you have to be patient and you have to wait for technological updates. Because let's face it, back then, and just to quote Richard Donner when he was making Superman the movie, like they weren't special effects; they were hard effects.
Right.
So his mission was to make an audience believe a man can fly.
Yep.
And so fast forward to where we are now with the technology that we have with visual effects, special effects. I mean, you still have studios that still go old school. Yeah. Like they don't go so much, in special effects at all. Like they'll do like the simple old school, like, treatment. But overall, like, I mean, if people thought it was overhyped, that's their opinion. But the way I saw it is, it got the excitement that it did because it was long overdue, very long overdue.
We talked about this earlier. All black cast. The closest that we got was Coming to America, and that's a comedy. And that look if you know what Coming to America is, think about the gap
in between.
You know what I'm saying? This is the first of many. Sorry, first of many to come, hopefully. But it's the first all black cast. Once again, director, written by Ryan Coogler, writer was also black. It's just like it's 2018. We're talking about a space army right now. You know what I'm saying? Which is dope. But this is the first. Space Force? Yeah, Space Force. And it's just like, this is the first. And it was long overdue. It painted people of color, black people in particular, in a different limelight. We weren't these guys who were like in a gang, in a mafia, who were powerful, misogynistic. We were royalty, we were respectful. And we talked about this, and if you watch the movie, every time they get like royal, like the bowing and like the king, he shuts that down. Like, he still call me your king. Still your king, but like, we don't do that here. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's a great movie. Like, it's so many things that are missed. I don't understand. Like, you definitely got to watch it again. Like, CGI, come on, bro. Like,
I might just go home and watch it again.
Like the Rhino, maybe I'll give you the Rhino, maybe. But like when they pulled out the shield cloaks at the end, and I was just like, that's a thing. The beads that they have, you know what I'm saying? First of all, you can make, like I said, you can make calls with that. I want to know who their service provider is. It came in clear. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get them. It's a great movie. Like The Dark Knight, it pitted the villain and the hero through different turmoils against each other as well. The hero was really going against the sins of the father, trying to run a kingdom and what she'd do next, and he had, and his girlfriend, whose name I also forgot, but like, she was like, we need to reach out, his ex, we need to reach out and do all these and help the world. And he's like, that's not what Dad did. I don't want to necessarily.
Wait, that was his ex in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had a previous relationship before,
but now she likes what he likes.
Well, it is.
It's an on and off relationship.
It seems like they're on right now.
But isn't that what's being presented right now in the comics though?
No, in the comics.
No. Or is that something that the public just put out there? Because it seemed like that was like the impression that.
Wait, what are we talking about? Are you talking about the character itself? Or
the character.
Yeah. So in the universe, in the MCU, they're together.
Okay.
But in the comic books, he's married to Storm.
Still?
Gotcha. Still?
I mean, in my mind,
I don't think he's married to Storm, because if I'm mistaken, they broke off and she went back to the X-Men. Unless they're still married by contract.
Thought they were still married because I just saw Next Avengers,
and she's there.
It's not that she's there, but I don't recall Storm being like the.
Oh, we gotta research this.
But like the son that Black Panther has in the cartoon, he has like lightning, like electrical, like lightning powers. So I'm thinking like maybe like Storm is the mom as well.
It could be a different continuity.
I don't know. Like I said, these. I mean,
vibranium.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen Next Avengers or like the plot of Next Avengers. No, it's basically the kids of the Avengers. Captain.
And they go against Ultron in the future. Yes, I seen it. I saw it. I synced it.
Yeah.
What is it? It's a show?
It's technically a movie.
Yeah. It's Cap, because it's basically Tony Stark telling the kids a bedtime story, and the bedtime story is what happened, like who they were as the Avengers and what happened. And so he depicts the Avengers as a fantasy tale. Captain America is the soldier, Black Widow is the spy, Thor is the god, I think, just a god.
He has a daughter.
Hawkeye's an arrow. Yeah, Hawkeye's like the arrowman or the bowsman or whatever he calls him. Archer. Iron Man's the knight. You know, so he's basically telling the story to these kids, but the kids are really the children of the Avengers. Yeah. Captain America and Black Widow get together and they have a son. Thor has a daughter. Black Panther and I'm going to assume Storm have a child, and Pym and Wasp have a son too.
Okay.
You know, and the only one that doesn't have a child is Tony Stark and Hulk.
Okay.
You know, but it's cool. It's a cool story. I liked it. I think
what's it called? Future Avengers?
Next Avengers.
Next Avengers.
Yeah, it was alright. Oh, and Hawkeye has a son. I don't know who the mom is, but they eventually in the movie they find out that he has a son.
Yeah. So, Black Panther is a really big cultural phenomenon. Killmonger was a highly talked about topic in that movie. What I love about this is I can't wait, because you know what? Let's be real. I was not paying attention to Black Panther before this. I was not. I knew he was part of the Illuminati, which blew my mind because of all the roster that was there. I was like, oh, they actually meet? This makes sense. They would do that. Yep. But then I was just like, yeah, he's smart. Yeah, he's rich. But I didn't know just how powerful he is. You know, I'm in groups where we're like, can he actually beat Bruce Wayne? Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy fight because he's definitely put down Captain America. Right. And Captain America has actually fought Batman, and it was like a stalemate.
Yeah.
So just using that logic off together, if those two have a stalemate, but Black Panther rock beats paper. If Black Panther beats Captain America, then he's going to beat Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy fight,
yeah,
but definitely. And it's just like, wow, when this movie came out, we started actually doing the research. And I'm really happy for this because it's like, wow, you pushing the forefront. And it now tasks Hollywood with the purpose to now make characters like Tony Stark, Iron Man, like Black Panther, who may have been like one shot or always with somebody else, better, more interesting, more relevant, you know? And Ryan Coogler did Black Panther, but still, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, wow, like this was the guy in the back. Yeah. We didn't know how important he was, but look how great you made him. Tony Stark, the same thing, you know what I'm saying? We just talked about it. We weren't really following Avengers with him like that. And look how important he became, the face of the MCU.
Yep.
I'm still going to look up this. It was the marriage and the divorce. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Black Panther, man. What else can be said about that movie? It's amazing. Like you said, it's the first all black cast backed by a studio like Disney.
They're divorced. They're
divorced.
Final. They're divorced. I thought maybe they came back together, but not yet so far.
No.
Okay.
It was the impact on the culture was real. You know, the impact on the culture was real. The movies, like the songs, everything about it. You know, the marketing for this movie was top notch. Top notch. You know? I don't find any cracks in that marketing campaign for this.
No. I'm just thinking because right off topic, like we think about the cultural phenomenon that Black Panther was, but I also have to shout out Dear White People. You understand? Which did rub a lot of people wrong. The movie first, which 2014.
Yeah.
2014, and then the series 2017.
I did not watch the series.
The series was dope.
I know.
The series is dope.
It's still on Netflix.
It should be. If not, we may have to hit up that back alley website.
Gotcha. which series?
Dear White People.
Oh, okay.
Really dope. Even season 2 got even better. And it's hard because it's like, you know, you make a really great piece of art. And it's like, how do you top it? And people get crazy trying to do that, and they did it. To me personally. So anyway, so then here it is. They had that. Society had that, and it rubbed them the wrong way. And then here comes Black Panther. if you took the time out to watch Black Panther and you listen to the messages that were actually being used, because I've actually seen that movie 3 times. I've actually seen that movie 3 times in the theaters before I bought the DVD, which I showed you guys. And it's just like there's so many things, about activism that's in it, but it's more about progression. Mm-hmm. You know, they're saying like you could do. It's one of those things where you could do so many things good, but you do like 1 or 2 things bad, and it's like bad outweighs the good. It's about progression. Yeah, and we missed that when we watched that. Yeah. The movie's dope. Don't get me wrong, straight up dope. Like the message is clear for me, but progression. Mm-hmm. And was it Michael Bay? I'm going to shout out Michael Bay because he was all here like, oh, you know, Netflix is killing, you know, the movie culture and all this other stuff. It's not Netflix, bro. It's movies that aren't like this, that aren't making people come to the movie theater to watch it, tell their friends and come back again. Mm-hmm.
Michael Bay, Transformers?
Yeah. Yep.
The last person who should talk about bad movies.
Well, let's just say I'm wrong, but movie culture, as I said on the last stop on the podcast, it has gone down because people realize we don't have to spend gas money. We don't have to necessarily eat food. We don't have to necessarily buy tickets for this weird experience that we made up in our head that doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I love to go to RPX movies. I get my seat. There's not that many rude people there. You know what I'm saying? And I'll pay for it. I don't like 3D because 3D glasses don't really work. Y'all failed at 3D. Just leave it alone, please. Mm-hmm. But that's my personal opinion. Oh, my God. Harry Potter and the Whomping Willow literally had the first scene, just the first scene of the train in 3D, and that was it.
Wait, the Whomping Willow?
The Whomping Willow. You know, where they fly the car into the train because they were late, and then that's where they find out...
Wasn't that the Chamber of Secrets?
I don't know any of that. I watched them all. I don't know any of their names.
First one was...
Was it Chamber of Secrets?
I don't know. Prison
whatever.
Blah, 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 blah. I know the first one was...
Sorcerer's.
The Sorcerer's Stone.
Sorcerer Supreme. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer Supreme. You know, what a combo.
That would be dope.
Harry
Potter versus Doctor Strange.
There you go. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Even though in the UK it's the Philosopher's Stone, I think.
Yes.
And then the second one had to be Chamber of Secrets. And then the third one was Prisoner of Azkaban. So if you're talking about the same one, they're in Chamber of Secrets, okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah,
I like the Whopping Willow because that's all I cared about. That was the only thing in
That's 3D. What they call the tree, right?
Like the Whopping Willow. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Because that's where he found out about his uncle. The whole Godfather. There you go, Godfather.
Right. Okay.
I'm getting everybody's name mixed up. I'm gonna have to delete myself in this. So
Marlon Brando.
3D. So they messed up on that. Man, there's so many things I want to say about this. I just really want to say, like, 3D needs to go. Understand that there is no movie culture because the movies, granted, don't get me wrong, we'll go see it. We'll go support it. But if it's not getting rave reviews, nobody's rushing out there to pay $13, $15, $16 for it. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes we'll do it out of fandom. Let's be real. We're all stands to an extent. You know, we're all big fans. But if I could watch the same movie for $8, $10, depending on what you're paying, from the comfort of my home, with the food that I want and non-sticky floor, then technically my living room is the movie culture.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just different ways of digesting movies now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people like to say, I don't know what, they're running out of ideas. We're not running out of ideas. We're just tired of seeing the same ones, same over and over and over again. And there are a lot of people out there that are waiting for their chance to put out a great movie.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
James Cameron said that the superhero thing is like, well, I forgot exactly what he said, but he said that it's I think it's killing the industry or something like that, or like, you know, people are going through this superhero phase, but eventually it's gonna die down.
Listen,
Terminator.
Yes.
Listen, man.
I respect that, man. But I mean, it's
a run. It's a run. Just
too long ago, we were on vampires and werewolves,
right.
You know, we forget about that. Oh my God, Twilight! You know, how
the movie business is like like wrestling. You have your certain superstars that have their run,
right?
You know, like it carries it gains momentum, but eventually, you know, that momentum is gonna, you know, either continue or die down, and then you're gonna have to like recycle or like restart or come up with something fresh and new to start off a whole new run in genre.
Twilight, how?
And I would definitely have to agree with you. And one reason why Marvel is winning right now is because each of their characters are different.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's different. Everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own arc. Everybody has their own villains. You know. Then you look at, you know, and they're true to the character. They're true to the heart of the character. Move over to DC, and the reason why they're not is because they're not true to the characters, and that's it. Call it a spade. They're not. You know.
I had so much faith in you guys.
You got Superman, who in the first movie in Man of Steel was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
I had a little problem with that fighting scene in product placement, but whatever.
But where was Clark Kent in that movie? Superman is more than just the blue and red suit. He's Clark Kent.
Fair enough.
Moving forward to Batman versus Superman, again, I loved Batman versus Superman. Where was Bruce Wayne? Where was Bruce Wayne? We did not see. We saw Batman without his mask.
Are you gonna? Do we go over on how Doomsday was reneged and?
Doomsday, well, and that comes after the fact. I think that's because of while I love Snyder, I think at this point it's the breakup gone bad. So he's just spilling all the secrets at this point.
Okay,
with Snyder. So saying that Lex wasn't Lex and Doomsday wasn't Doomsday.
Did you hear that other thing that he wanted to introduce Carrie Kelly as the next Robin? And that apparently, and that apparently that nightmare scene, like there's a female in there. Apparently that was her, but you couldn't really see her face because she was like banded up,
right?
Like she had the scarf or something like covering her face.
I thought in that nightmare scene, I thought the person who originally opened up the case for Batman, that person has to be somebody in the continuity that we know. Because otherwise, why would Batman trust him, and why would he look so hurt when he was betrayed, and why would that person say, "I'm sorry"? Like, that has to be somebody we know, and it's just there's so. I love Batman vs Superman for what it is because I'm a Batman fan, I'm a Superman fan, I'm a DC fan at heart. But if I sit back and I think about it too much, there's a lot of holes.
And that's what I like about Snyder. I just recently saw it. And I never knew it existed, but it's called the Ultimate Watchmen cut, where it's the movie, like the director's cut plus that cartoon, the Black Freighter. So what's interesting is I've seen
we're gonna watch this.
I've seen the director's cut so many times, and I love it.
Yeah.
But this Ultimate cut includes scenes that aren't even in the director's cut. And I think the running time is like 3.5, something like that.
3:45 or something.
Yeah, man. Like
I don't have to sleep tonight. Yeah, it's all right.
Like, yeah, man. Like I was just like, wait a minute, I don't remember what. You know, like let me rewind this again.
That is the only version of Watchmen that I watch now.
And that's why I like Snyder so much, because even before he starts shooting, even during, I'm pretty sure even before pre-production, he has this entire arc, and not just arc, but like he puts out all these crazy references, and you gotta be like the ultimate geek, nerd, dork fan to look out for these references. Like even to this day, like a lot of people spotted like a reference to like the hometown or the state or the area where one of the Superman creators was born at, and it wasn't even something that was printed like on a piece of paper or like on a wall. Like it was like a cracked window. Wow. You know, like it was like a layout, and then someone looked at it and they posted it up, I think Snyder might have responded to that, saying like, nope, you're right, like there it is, you know.
I'm okay, we're gonna move forward. I just want to say I love it when creators get that leeway to do things and it comes together. I definitely want to say that I'll definitely sit in a movie theater 3 to 4 hours if the movie's great. I've done it with Titanic, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So if it's there, let's do it. Did you guys want to talk about James Gunn?
If you guys want, I mean, like for those that aren't aware, which I'm pretty sure you are now, but if you're not, James Gunn was fired for some tweets that he had put out a couple of years back. I don't recall the topic.
Let's not go into it. It's toxic. It's really bad. It's really toxic.
Of this,
if you find it, then you know.
controversy, but he is out as director of Volume 3. And there's this back and forth talk, amongst the cast executives regarding the future of the Guardians franchise, especially now that Gunn is out. Disney, I think, from what I read, initially was not going to use his script for Volume 3, but then later on I read that they agreed to use his script. He's just out as director, and so there was possible talks of him coming back, but then Disney and Marvel just decided no, it's not going to happen. Even the Guardians themselves, the actors, put out a statement saying that while they don't agree with his views on certain things here and there, or what happened or what he tweeted, but they still find him to be a beautiful human being, a great human being, a great director, someone that they can work with, feel comfortable with. And even with that, it wasn't enough to convince the executives at Disney and Marvel. Disney
realizes where they're at right now and who they're pandering to, as they always have. You know what I'm saying? They know what they're doing. They're not going to let that level of toxicity. There you go. That's the English major right there. Into their brand. You know what I'm saying? And
they don't want anything to tarnish their brand.
You know what I'm saying? I get it. And you know what? He might have gotten away with it if that person on Twitter hadn't done the research and brought out all the research. That's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you out here saying some wild, crazy stuff, delete your Twitter because everybody has
Ryan
receipts.
Johnson did.
and then it comes back to bite you.
I would here's my only issue. I would never defend what he said or the comments that he made. They were on his Twitter. He didn't try to hide it. Mm-hmm. He apologized for it.
He did.
Before all of that, before it even came to he apologized years ago. Mm-hmm. Before he even did Guardians 1, before he was even in the running, he apologized. So and he apologized publicly.
Yeah.
So that's like saying somebody can never change who they are. He changed. Yeah. He changed who he is. He apologized for those tweets. And then was hurt. He didn't do none of this while he was employed with Disney. Mm-hmm. So therefore, in my opinion, he cannot get fired for something that Disney already knew, just because of this. And it was already public.
I got you. It was still there. It's like an open wound. And then look who went after him, and look what they did with it.
Yeah,
you understand? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And see, this is the point where it gets political. I'm just gonna say no to it. It wasn't the greatest thing for him to do. Agreed. You know what I'm saying? Although he apologized for it, it was still there. And Disney was like, you know what? We're not having it. In that retrospect, I think we're going to wrap this up. But I still want to know, out of these movies, out of Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Deadpool 2, and Ant-Man 2, because I had to change it up, which is the best movie of 2018? Mind you, 2018 isn't done, but we're not getting anything else.
I mean, we're gonna get Aquaman.
We're not getting anything else.
We will talk about this.
Little Mermaid 2. This is Little Mermaid 3.
We will talk about this in 4 months.
Come on, man. Come on.
We will talk about this in 4 months. But so far, the movies that came out, comic books movie that came out, I would say, Black Panther 1 because of the impact it had on the culture, on my culture and my immediate surroundings. I will go Infinity War, which is a close second. Infinity War is a close second. Trailing behind a little bit, I would say Deadpool 2 and then Ant-Man 2. But all 4 movies are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't know.
You said Black Panther, Infinity War, Deadpool, Ant-Man. And then Ant-Man. Okay, I haven't seen Ant-Man, so I'm gonna have to judge the previous 3. We discussed this earlier, and I also agree that Black Panther is by far the best comic book superhero movie of 2018. Even though there will be others, in the months that follow, but as of now, Black Panther holds that title. I did enjoy Infinity War, like all those characters, all those movies, leading up to that particular film. I mean, it was great, but Black Panther takes the cake. I mean, for every good reason. As I said earlier, it's long overdue. I mean, like, for what it stands for what it represents, there's no way a movie like this could have been pulled off back in the early 2000s, back in the 90s, 80s, or even 70s. It just needed the perfect time. Like, it was all right timing, like everything had to come into place. All the pieces came together, and it came together this year, 2018. So, Black Panther holds that particular title of best movie of this year.
I'm gonna have to. I agree with you guys. Black Panther. I'm gonna stop calling it the best superhero movie and call it the best superhero origin movie of all time. So I can't. I don't. I'm gonna.
Like, to me, it goes up there with Dark Knight.
Yes.
And I can't. And I'm sorry, but I can't. Speaking of Watchmen earlier, it goes up there with Watchmen. To me, Watchmen. I know people say that it's overrated. I just think that when it comes to that particular genre, it's not necessarily a superhero movie. It's a completely different brand, because like at the time it was like under the Vertigo brand, right?
Yeah,
Vertigo Comics.
So
it's a completely
it's still a comic book.
It's still a comic book movie, but it stands on its own. It's not necessarily Black Panther, but when it comes to
sort of like Logan,
right? Like, so it's like to me, Black Panther stands up there with all those movies: Watchmen, Dark Knight, Logan. Who did I say? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
you said Dark Knight, Logan, and you said Watchmen.
Watchmen, yeah.
Okay, so I was just gonna say that Black Panther is the best comic book origin movie I think of all time. Will it be beaten? Maybe. Before we came to this conclusion that Brooklyn Boy T brought up, it gave me too much of Dark Knight feel. It gave me way too much Dark Knight feel. Dark Knight, I watched that movie and I literally forgot there was a Batman at times. Like, oh yeah, this is Batman. This is his movie, not the Joker. And Killmonger was like not too far from doing the same thing, but they balanced it out really good. Avengers Infinity War, the greatest movie. I mean, like, with so many people getting their shine. Deadpool 2, I think you need to see Deadpool twice or own the DVD because there's so many Easter egg jokes and just stuff. Like, you spend like maybe, let's say the movie's an hour and 53 minutes or something like that. Let's say it's 2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours.
You spend like an extra 30 to 40 minutes going over the jokes that are in there. Ant-Man was dope. You know what I loved about Ant-Man? It wasn't the same thing as Ant-Man the first one was, and they built upon it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The ending was dope too, how it ended and the after scene credits. It was just like, oh, they found a way to make some more gold. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Unfortunately,
the inclusion of the Wasp that caught me by surprise. I thought she was going to be like a secondary character, but she stole the show. I
think so too.
Absolutely loved
and
it
wasn't like forced.
No,
it really was like on some like she like rolled with like it was hers.
Yep.
It was fluid, man. These are all great movies. I definitely
had to like like a character like Ant-Man. Most of its career or time, mostly associated with the Wasp. Like, you couldn't do a sequel and not include the Wasp.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm
looking forward to seeing what they do now with it. And these are all great movies. That's the crazy thing. These are all great movies within 1 year. It's just different tiers, honestly.
Tears of joy, tears of disappointment. In the arms of an angel. But overall, at the end of the day, we're all geeks, we're all nerds, we're all dorks, we're all comic book fans.
That's right.
And so we see them as they are, comic book superhero movies. There's no reason, in my opinion, there's no reason to judge them in any shape or form. I mean, you're more than welcome to say, like, you didn't like the story, you didn't like the visual effects or whatever, but it's still a superhero movie. And for me, personally, I'm just happy to see these characters up on the screen and get their time,
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen them on paper. We've seen them in animated form.
Yep.
And this is the time for them to put them up on the screen. Yeah. Because as a kid growing up, that's all you ever wanted, man. That's all you ever wanted. You know, you wanted to believe, you know, a man can fly. You wanted to believe that, you know, a kid can shoot web slingers and, you know, fly or like soar through the New York skyline.
I still want to. You know how much money I'd save on transportation?
You know, you know,
Metro card.
Right? You know, you wanted to be the one worthy to lift a hammer. You know? So, you know, we're comic fans. That's it. That's the way it should be.
Couldn't say no better than that.
Now here. Another.
Spoke about a lot today. Iron Man.
All right, so I'll leave it.
Bucky.
Winter Soldier. Don't even try it. Don't even try it, Martha. It's your boy Mayhem. Mike. We're gonna close out this episode of HieroGeekics. You can definitely find me at YFR Mayhem. Definitely want to shout out Last Stop on L. Great podcast. I'm featured on it, so of course it's great. On that one, I remember everybody's names. Also want to shout out Sebastian, who last episode came through, who's also part of Geeks Unlimited, but you know him from Sebastian. What's his last name? Sebastian Bonnet Art.
Bonnet.
Yeah. I say Bonnet because I like
Bonnet.
I like messing with him. Sorry. He does definitely check him out. We'll have his links posted in the description. As always, I want to thank my co-host who always managed to help me out in figuring whether or not I'm worthy today. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and let yourself out the door?
Once again, this is Brooklyn Boy T, and I'll be remiss not to mention this. I just want to say R.I.P. to the late great John Snepp. You know, great person. Was able to meet him, talk with him for a couple minutes. Definitely going to be missed. Yeah, we'll miss him.
Yep, definitely. And this is your favorite recluse, Dorco Manhattan. I also like to give a little like respect and dedication to the late great Steve Ditko. Yeah, you know, because without him, or at least, you know, a part of his work, a part of his efforts, we would not have Spider-Man.
Definitely. Damn, I'm trying to think of a nice story saying, but R.I.P. to those greats, man. This is Last Stop on L. This is the HieroGeekics podcast. We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode of HieroGeekics, the show for all things geek. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below so we can have more discussions for you. Don't forget to visit our channel, Geeks Unlimited, and even our sibling channel, The Nerds of the Round, on YouTube. Links are in the description below, and until next time, guys, stay geeky.